So, good morning, everyone. This is Awaken World Live session. My name is Garen, and today we're going to be talking about when death comes knocking, about death itself. And the reason we're doing so is we have a friend. Hi, Sandra. How are you this morning? We have a friend who invited us snowshoeing a couple of weeks ago, and we were up in the Alpine Meadows near Sovereign Lake and having a wonderful time. And she was getting quite out of breath. And she had told us that she had asthma and high blood pressure, so we didn't really think too much of it. But by the next day, she was feeling even worse, and she went to the doctor, and the doctor sent her to the hospital. And it turned out that she had had a heart attack. Now, I call this the Superman or Superwoman syndrome, and we all suffer from it in some way. I remember, I'm an ex-military guy, spent 25 years in special forces, and I remember the first time a bullet ripped through my side, and I realized, hold on, I'm not immortal. I'm not bulletproof. Good morning, Lydia. How are you this morning? And this is a really interesting thing that we all go through. And I'm going to explain why. And the reason why is deep in your unconscious mind, which stays connected with your higher self at all times. There is a knowing that what you truly are is invincible. And when you first have an experience here in the physical realm where you honestly get hurt, where you realize your own mortality as a physical manifestation, you're kind of in shock at that. You're like, wow, you mean I'm not the only one who's immortal? I'm mortal too? And this is why that happens, is because there's a larger part of you that knows actually that that's not the case. But when it first hits you, it's like, wow, I am mortal. And we talk about death, and so many people are so afraid of death, and it's really a shame that they are. And if you haven't seen the video that Death is Your Friend, you should actually watch that video as well. It's very helpful. As well as Dark Night of the Soul, which is actually the dark night of the ego. Because what we're really talking about is the death of anything. Death comes knocking all the time. We have the death of our old beliefs. When I was young, I believed that Santa Claus came and put the stocking at the end of the bed and the presents under the tree. At some time, death came knocking, and Santa Claus died, as far as my beliefs went. This is, all of our lives is actually a preparation for that moment when we cross back over dimensionally from this physical realm back into the realm of the real, the spiritual realm, where everything is manifest from. And every minute and every way, we're always invited to practice this death practice, to allow death in when death comes knocking, to not try and hold it out as an enemy, but to invite it in. Because death's purpose is not to bring us to the other side. We exist simultaneously in both realms. There's no guide through the doorway. That's not what death is here for. Death isn't a black-cowled skeletal character, cute or otherwise, carrying a big scythe to literally slice life out of you. That's not the case at all. Death indeed is a glowing, beautiful angel that is always with us. Always reminding us that in this physical realm, in this realm of the relative, everything rises and everything falls away. The gift of death is the constant realization to value every moment. To not live in fear or put up with where you're at today because you're afraid of the death of the current conditions. or you're worried about the death of your way of life, or the death of your job, or the death of the role you've over-identified with, or the death of the relationship you're in. Death always opens us for more. Whether it's day-by-day death or what we would term final death in this physical form at the end of our lives on this planet. This is the beauty of death. It's inviting us in every way and in every moment to open ourselves to the realization that life is a constant evolution of change, that there is nothing static. As soon as something truly goes still, that's the closest definition we have of death. In the terms of the cosmos and the universe, we call it entropy, decay. See, even in death, to be honest, in this relative universe, there's still action, lots of it. The body goes through an entire process of decay. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And then to be built and reformed again from the same carbon burnt out star matter that we're all made out of. We are literally charcoal from stars. This is a beautiful thing. So whenever we're faced in our life with the death of anything, and physical, what we perceive as a physical attack on our being in one way or another, a heart attack or a severe illness that lands us in the hospital, those are gifts. Those are invitations by death to reevaluate our lives, to say, wait a minute. I forgot that every time I speak about making plans, whether it's 10 minutes from now, 10 hours from now, or 10 years from now, there's an unspoken "but by the grace of God" that goes behind that. In other words, we make assumptions that we're just going to continue on living, and that things are going to be the same way they were yesterday as they are today. And you know what? That gets really boring after a while. It really does. Our dear friend Sharon, who this happened to, and we know in some ways that it did set her back a minute. Contemplating your own immortality, and I've had many occasions to do it, including 2 times where I died and came back. Contemplating our own mortality should be a regular part of our existence. I try and do it once a day. I try to remind myself, if I knew I was going to die today, how much would any of the stuff going through my head matter? How much would my problem with Joe down the street matter if I knew I was going to die today? Or if I knew Joe was going to die today? How much of the ignorant behavior of my family member would I deal with if I knew I was going to die today? Or they were going to die today? This is the beautiful gift that death gives us. It is a constant reminder that we are here to live while we're here. Not waiting for some far-off place where we're going to become happy, where things are going to work out the way they're supposed to. But we're going to live right now, in this very moment, because in truth, this moment is all you have. And one day, death will come knocking. And that moment will be your last moment in this physical realm. This is not something to fear. This is not something to look at as a macabre conversation, and my heart goes out to all of those who are so afraid to speak of death. How you choose to die daily very much reflects how you live. When we die, when we surrender, when we give in, when we die to our beliefs, when we die to our concepts of what we think right and wrong is, or what the way things should be or should not be, when we die to that ego sense of self, that false sense of self that says, I'm less, I'm separate, I'm not enough, when we die to all of that, we are resurrected. We are born again. We are made whole beings in that continual death. So practice. I really suggest, and I'm going to suggest today, a Buddhist practice which I learned in Tibet when I was staying in various monasteries in Tibet over a 3-year period. And it is a practice that I recommend you engage in at least once a week. And it involves consciously dying. And Jennifer says that she contemplates every day on death and that she thinks it's a beautiful thing. And this is another reason why we're going to be switching to the YouTube live, so I can have your comments right here on the screen. Right here. Yeah, right beside me. So I can see them and answer them more quickly and promptly. But she's right. Contemplate on death every day. Try this beautiful little death meditation out, and it's very simple. You lie down in savasana, or corpse pose. You lie on your back on the ground or on your bed, feet slightly spread apart. Allow your legs to just fall open naturally, palms up to the sky. You're just lying there. Allow your whole body to relax. Contemplate that you now have died and your body is no longer capable of moving. And guide yourself through the gradual, now, don't get the visualization too much if you have a queasy stomach. You know, a funny thing, I can actually describe something to my wife and she will pass out or get physically ill if she takes the vision too far with herself. There's a lot of fun there that can be had. Lydia says, a beautiful, optimistic way to look at death and resurrection. And that is the truth. It is beautiful. You know, I have the collective memories of over 3,284 years of experienced lifetimes. And death is my best buddy. I welcome death in every time it shows up. So in this death meditation, we're lying there and we want to imagine the dissolution of our entire being. So, you know, we can envision our skin beginning to dry out and crumble, and all our organs, all the water coming out of our body and us drying up, and things falling away and a skeleton remains. And over time, eventually the skeleton itself even turns to dust. And if you take yourself through this over a 10 or 15 minute period, you will come to the realization that even in that death, that which you are is still present. It never existed within the body. It was simply focusing attention on the temple. It's not really our temple. The temple is actually a natural occurrence. It is a happening, this body. We place our attention here. Much love to you all, and I don't really have too much more to say this morning. I did want to keep it short. We have a guest coming at 10 a.m. this morning to help out. Later this week, we're going to be starting the 1-hour help session live feeds via YouTube. And we're interested in talking with people about what time during the day that'll work. Now, everyone has to keep in mind we're on Pacific Standard Time, which is the same as Vancouver or Los Angeles. So any feedback on that would be appreciated. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for our live evening video, which will be via YouTube, and we will be posting that all day long tomorrow. And that's it. You know, Jennifer, you probably are crazy, but guess what? We're crazy too. And I want you to remember this. In an insane world that thinks it's sane, The crazy people are actually the sane ones. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Much love to you all, and we'll see some more posts today, and we'll definitely touch base with you all tomorrow during the live. And namaste, and do have a wonderful day. Allow yourself to die to anything that doesn't serve you, and just enjoy that living is all about constant change, constant evolution, constant death, constant rebirth, constant resurrection, never ending. Much love. Have a wonderful day.